Why was the captain sent to prison even though he landed a broken plane with no casualties? Stay tuned to find out the bizarre twist of events that led to this. The year was 2000, July 2000. This airline was founded by a German shipping company and was a leisure airline that carried cruise passengers. The original HAPAG company first became involved in the aviation industry in 1910, sponsoring Zeppelin flights. HAPAG-LLOYD Flight was established in July 1972, 2 years after HAPAG merged with HAPAG-LLOYD. HAPAG-LLOYD Group bought a few Boeing 727s to fly its cruise passengers from Germany to the ports. It began operations on the 30th of March 1973. With the boom of the holiday charter flight market in the 1970s, it quickly adopted charter flights to popular holiday destinations in the Mediterranean Sea area and the Canary Islands. It soon became one of the biggest German charter airlines. On the 12th of July 2000, an Airbus A310 was scheduled to bring 143 passengers and 8 crew members from Hania, Crete in Greece, to Hanover in Germany. Let us talk about the Airbus A310. The Airbus A310 is a wide-body aircraft, designed and manufactured by Airbus Industry, then a consortium of European aerospace manufacturers. Airbus had identified a demand for an aircraft smaller than the A300, the first wide-body twin-jet aircraft. On the 7th of July 1978, the A310 was launched with orders from Swissair and Lufthansa. On the 3rd of April 1982, the first prototype conducted its maiden flight, and the A310 received its type certification on the 11th of March 1983. The aircraft was 11 years old and had 41,300 total airframe hours. The captain was a 56-year-old pilot with more than 23,000 of flight hours. He was the most experienced pilot in the airline. The first officer was 25 years old and have a total of 2,800 flight hours. On that day, the captain was the pilot flying and the first officer was the pilot monitoring. At 10:58 local time the aircraft started its takeoff roll and 1 minute later the aircraft got airborne. Under normal conditions, once the aircraft was on a positive climb, the pilots will retract the landing gear. But in this case the wheels refused to retract. In the cockpit, the red gear unsafe lamp and yellow gear door open lamp illuminated. What happens when your computer freezes? Well, you reset it. In this case, this is exactly what the pilots did. They tried cycling the gear 4 times. The landing gear still remained down. The captain then decided to continue the flight to Germany with the gear extended as they needed to burn the extra fuel. Now with this problem they have, workload has increased for the pilots. The first officer tried to contact the airline HF radio station to get some feedback via a CARS and Stockholm radio. He was preoccupied with this task for almost 1 hour. In the meantime they kept on referring to the FMS, which is the flight management system. This computer tells the pilots about the fuel consumed and the time it takes to arrive to their destination. After consulting with the airline dispatch team, they decided to divert to Munich Airport. But they left out one crucial detail. The Airbus A310 FMS computer was not designed to calculate how much fuel is needed when the landing gear is down. With the landing gear extended, it created so much drag that it burned almost twice as much fuel compared to the gear being in the retracted position. The pilots then discovered the shocking truth. They do not have enough fuel to fly to Munich Airport. At 12 p.m. local time the captain changed his mind and decided to fly to Vienna Schwechat Airport instead. If you enjoy this video so far, do like and subscribe for more videos like this. I appreciate you and will love you for a very, very long time. The first officer noticed the rapid decrease of fuel and they were still under Greek airspace. At 12:34 local time, the FMS fuel prediction showed 1.9 tons arrival fuel in Vienna. This meant that the pilots have to divert to the nearest suitable airport, which is Zagreb in Croatia. However, the pilots did not do that. Instead, upon contacting Zagreb ATC, the crew is still heading towards Vienna. The pilots then requested a direct route to Vienna and told ATC that if a direct route was not available, they will divert to Graz Airport. That was when Vienna ATC found out that the plane was low on fuel. Surprisingly, the pilots did not declare an emergency. The first officer urged the captain twice to declare an emergency, but the captain refused. At 13:01 local time, the fuel low-level warning indicated about 1,340 kilograms remaining. At this point, the aircraft was 42 nautical miles away from Zagreb, 85 nautical miles away from Graz, and 131 nautical miles away from Vienna. The captain decided to call Mayday but still insisted that they are able to reach Vienna. At this point, the crew still considered diverting to Graz but found out that he did not have the approach charts. The first officer was trying to tell the captain that the FMS fuel prediction was wrong. The captain then instructed the first officer to request no emergency services after landing and to delay the flap extension. 12 nautical miles from the runway, both engines flamed out, but the first officer was able to restart them for a few more minutes of thrust. Because there was no time for the final checklist, the land recovery switch was neglected. This affected the ailerons, which is needed for stability at low speeds. The left wingtip hit the grassy surface about 660 meters short of the runway. The landing gear collapses after 22 meters and the aircraft skidded on the left engine and right main landing gear. It then started turning left 90 degrees, hitting the approach lights and antennas and finally stopping near the taxiway. 26 passengers got injured while evacuating the aircraft using the escape slides. The aircraft was written off because of the severe damage to the underside of the fuselage. During the investigation, it was found that the lock nut that was fitted wrongly allowed a screw to turn, which led to an adjustment error. This prevented the landing gear to be retracted. The investigators concluded that the pilots failed to comply with company regulations regarding fuel reserves. There were several human factors at play, namely the loss of situational awareness and tunnel vision. The captain relied on the wrong data in the FMS and also insisted to continue flying, instead of diverting to Zagreb Airport. The airline also failed to provide sufficient documentation for abnormal landing gear indication and inadequate review of fuel requirements. The captain decided to leave the airline 6 months after the incident. In 2004, the Hanover District Court convicted the captain and sent him to prison for 6 months. The offense was that he was endangering the lives of passengers for failing to divert to Zagreb. If you found this story interesting, do check out our latest video. Thank you very much for watching. Do comment below which stories you would like us to share.